fracking gas from Germany? FDP leader Christian Lindner is lobbying on the controversial extraction of natural gas by fracking. His initiative is causing cracks in the traffic light coalition, because his government partners in the SPD and the Greens are less than enthusiastic. Germany's special envoy for international climate protection, Jennifer Morgan, has given a clear rejection of the FDP's demands for fracking in Germany. "That's out of the question," the state secretary of the foreign ministry told the news magazine Spiegel. The Green politician's right-hand man, Annalena Baerbock, thus clearly positioned herself against the corresponding FDP proposals. The FDP leader, Economics Minister Christian Lindner, had held out the prospect of lifting the fracking ban at the end of October. "We have considerable gas fields in Germany that can be extracted without endangering drinking water," the liberal leader had told the Funke Media Group's newspapers. "The extraction was also ecologically responsible," Lindner continued. "It would be quite irresponsible not to use fracking because of ideological commitments." The extraction method, the fracking of rock by pumping water and chemicals to release gas, was partially banned in Germany in 2016. Since then, numerous politicians, especially from the ranks of the right-wing populist party, Alternative for Germany, AfD, and from the conservative CDU and CSU parties, have repeatedly called for fracking to be allowed in Germany. In view of the energy crisis following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, these voices have recently become louder. Fracking, a non-issue? However, for Matthias Koch, policy advisor for energy transition at the EEG, an independent think tank in Berlin, these are fruitless discussions. By the time fracking can make a significant contribution to Germany's energy supply, we can already save much more by insulating buildings and installing heat pumps, he told DW. It is irresponsible to distract attention from the real solutions by putting another issue at the forefront that is not. Germany theoretically has enough natural gas to cover 1/5 of its needs. But only half can be extracted in an economically viable way, according to the Federal Association of the German Oil and Gas Industry, BVEG. Moreover, according to VEG, it is likely to take about 3 years to identify locations for new production sites. By the time the gas is actually pumped out of the ground, much more time will have passed. Fracking has been criticized because it is associated with environmental damage such as the contamination of groundwater by chemicals or the release of methane, a gas that is very harmful to the climate. In addition, hydraulic fracturing is suspected of triggering earthquakes. Gas extraction by fracking is banned in Germany for good reason, according to the Environment Ministry headed by Green Party politician Steffi Lemke. In an interview with Redaktionsnetzwerk Deutschland, a ministry spokesman rejected Lindner's ideas. Fracking gas is harmful to the climate and its extraction harms the environment. According to a survey conducted by the Opinion Research Institute Infratest in August 2022, only 1 in 4 Germans is in favor of fracking on national soil, while more than half are in favor of extending the lifetime of nuclear power plants. Is Lindner distancing himself? However, many observers suspect that Lindner's fracking proposal may be more of a political move than a contribution to Germany's security of supply. His party has recently had to deal with electoral defeats. For example, in North Rhine-Westphalia, Germany's most populous state, where it lost more than half of the votes. Or in Lower Saxony, where it lost re-entry into the state parliament in early October. In response, Lindner seems to increasingly advocate positions that are rejected by his coalition partners in the SPD and the Greens. A risky move that could destabilize the coalition. Karl-Heinz Pack, chairman of the Friedrich Naumann Foundation and member of the FDP's Federal Executive Committee, stresses that Lindner's initiative is not due to a political calculation. "We are fundamentally open to technology, and of course that also applies to fracking," Pack said in an interview with DW. "I'm not a specialist, but what I'm reading is that there are new technologies in this area that are gentle on the environment. I don't see this at all in relation to a discussion about traffic lights. Differences of opinion are normal in any coalition," Pack added. "The Greens have ideas that we don't share, we have ideas that the Greens don't share, and whatever comes out in a compromise we'll see." Of course, he said, the situation is difficult for the FDP. This coalition is not very popular with our voters. Recently, the FDP had to compromise on its fiscal principles. Finance Minister Lindner spends more money than she would like. Mostly for defense, but also to protect businesses and citizens from rising energy costs. The ambitious modernization plans that the new government included in its coalition agreement last December, and which were largely driven by the FDP, have been thwarted by the Russian war in Ukraine. Nevertheless, the party continues to support its leader, says PAC. Lindner is a very strong leader and has pulled us out of many crises. Energy expert Matthias Koch, on the other hand, criticizes Lindner for creating noise instead of solutions with his fracking proposal. This is another attempt by the FDP to regain ground in the debate by blowing up a side issue, similar to the weeks-long dispute over the lifetime extension of nuclear power plants, he said. Now they seem to be increasingly targeting the last voters who want to slow down in the energy transition.